Welcome to the Walk-Ons Independence Bowl and part of Capital One Bowl Mania. We are in Shreveport, one of the oldest bowls in existence. Independence Stadium, just outside of downtown Shreveport. And the matchup from Conference USA, Southern Mississippi, and from the ACC, the Florida State Seminoles. It has not been a great season for Florida State. They've had major downs and ups, and it really began on a down note. They go in number 3, take on number 1 Alabama, lose their quarterback, DeAndre Francois, for the year. Then they hit a 3-6 mark. They had not done that. Their worst start since Bobby Bowden's first year in 1976, and then Jimbo Fisher left on December 1st. But they have a new head coach in Willie Taggart. Interim coach Odell Hagens is sticking around. That's very important, and we'll be talking about that all day. Along with Roddy Jones and Ahmad Brooks, I'm Dave Lamont. Thank you very much for joining us. So after all of that, Ahmad, that the Seminoles have gone through, how do they get their focus for this game?
Well, it's difficult, especially considering that fans all across the country are familiar with this brand, along with the success that this program has had. And not to mention, you look at one of the most recognizable helmets in all of college football. It's been those players that have had to endure all the challenges that have come along this year. They're ready to put that behind them. But before they do that, and before this program gets off of the mat, you know, they've got great facilities, great recruiting base, and a new head coach with great optimism in Willie Taggart. They've got to take on a scrappy Southern Miss bunch today in the Golden Eagles.
And the Golden Eagles have a couple of offensive weapons, Roddy, that any coach around the country would be very, very happy to have.
You're exactly right, Dave. It starts with Ito Smith and Corey Robertson. Ito Smith, the running back, first team all-conference. Corey Smith, the receiver. Corey Robertson, the same thing. But when you talk about Ito Smith, the running back is a senior from Mobile, Alabama, and a great story about how he got that nickname. He was born in 1995, around the time of the O.J. Simpson trial, and his grandmother actually came back, and when she saw baby Romaria Smith and those chubby cheeks, he said, he looks like Judge Lance Ito, the presiding judge of that O.J. Simpson trial. And Ito Smith has absolutely held court on the field. First team all-conference, as I said earlier, and he is the #1 in the Southern Miss record books in all-time all-purpose yards. You'll see him catch the ball in the backfield. You'll obviously see him toting the rock. He's the engine that makes this Southern Miss offense go, and his success will go a long way towards determining the success of this offense.
Roddy, thank you very much. You take a look at Jay Hobson in his second season as the head coach. He had been an assistant with the Golden Eagles before and had some success at Alcorn State. That's what attracted Southern Mississippi to bring him in. And Odell Hagens just signed on to remain with Willie Taggart as the defensive line coach. He is a Florida State lifer, played for Bobby Bowden, coached with the legendary Florida State coach, coached with Jimbo Fisher, and now he's staying in Tallahassee. And you always wonder what was going to happen or what happens to the interim coach, Ahmad. This was, I thought, a really smart move by Willie Taggart.
Outstanding move. And in talking to him yesterday, I'm not sure you could search the entire United States and find a man or a person who knows the program as well as he does. And what I really enjoyed was his approach to the student athletes, the respect he gives them, and the amount of love that he shows to his players. It was quite obvious when we talked to Derek Nundy about how he felt about him and his development as a student athlete.
Yeah, it was interesting. We didn't even really talk that much about the game with him. He was much more concerned with big picture stuff. And why not? Particularly with the early recruiting that everybody had to go through. It is 38 degrees here, a bit of a breeze going from the left to the right on your device. And we are in field turf. And unfortunately, don't see the sun today here in Shreveport. Florida State won the toss. They deferred. And so Southern Mississippi will send T-Rod Daniels and Tez Parks back deep. So make that Ito Smith is going to get a chance to return kicks and not Daniels. Nice crowd on hand. A lot of folks making the trip from Tallahassee or from Southern Mississippi. Toe meets leather. We're underway. Very short kick taken to the 12-yard line. And Smith won't get very far at all. He'll get to about the 22-yard line. That's just a 10-yard pickup. Let's take a look at how the Golden Eagles got here. 6-2 in Conference USA. And Quadra Griggs and Keon Howard split time at quarterback. Griggs has been dealing with an injured hand all season long. Two credible all-conference performers that Roddy has already talked about, and they got hot late. Won their last 3 in a wild win over Marshall at the end. So Quadra Griggs brings out the offense. They'll run a jet sweep to Allenze staggers, and he is taken down after a 4-yard pickup at the 41-yard line. So Quandre Griggs, the redshirt junior from Greenwood, Mississippi, had a great finish to the season, even dealing with a bit of a bad right hand. He was steady and at times spectacular and error-free. They'll stay on the ground. That's going to be a loss in the backfield. Tess Parks is brought down. A couple of losses. Number 99, Brian Burns, the edge rusher out of Fort Lauderdale, with a stop.
He's an outstanding football player. The sophomore defensive end, 6'5", 227 pounds. One of the impact players for today. Third long situation here. Expect Florida State to heat up the pocket for Griggs.
And they do, throwing in direction of the pressure, but no luck. They're going to lose a yard there as Parks was brought down instantaneously. And you see Fagan in there on the stop. Cyrus Fagan, number 24.
They brought a 5-man pressure to the young quarterback. He recognized it, tried to get the ball out into space quickly, but the Florida State defense starting off tackling well in the open field.
So the redshirt freshman punter from Alabama, Zach Everett, will boot it. DJ Matthews, who averages almost 12 per return, awaits this one. A little bit of pressure on the rush, and the kicker is taken down. There is a flag down. This punt, it was returned at the 1. He grabbed it at the 1-yard line. Can Matthews get out of there? He can. He'll be brought down at the 10. Now, we'll be dealing with a 5-yard penalty or the 15-yard penalty. Running or roughing into the kicker means either a first down or fourth down. Referee from the MAC.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker. Number 11, receiving team. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. First and 10.
That is on Janarius Robinson. So 2 15-yard penalties. We haven't even played 2 minutes yet.
Ouch. That's stubbing your toe right there. Getting out of bed. You know, it's very difficult as a guy trying to come in to block to determine, do I let up or do I run through the punt or the kick? That time there, Florida State players not making a wise decision, and now the Golden Eagles offense back out on the field after a very lucky break.
Yeah, you could see the speed of the FSU defense was certainly a factor on the opening drive, but all of a sudden the Golden Eagles are into Seminoles territory at the 47-yard line. He'll sling it sidearm here to Ito Smith, 45, 43, 42-yard line. And you saw the elusiveness there of Smith, a gain of 5, 2nd and 5 coming up.
I love the fact that they're trying to find different ways to get Ito Smith the ball. If you're the Florida State defense, your ability to defend this offense starts and stops with Ito Smith, the running back. You've got to know where he's at all times and account for him, whether he's being released out in the flat from the backfield on a passing route or running the football.
Delayed handoff, Smith. He'll get a first down and a lot more to the 25-20. The race is on 15-10, inside the 10, and a touchdown-saving tackle there down to the 9-yard line.
Just
33 yards.
Just right up the gut. A delay here which allowed him to see that seam, get through it. And here's where this kid is so special. Complete back with home run speed.
And they'll give it to him again. Look at the ability to move quickly in a crowd. Down to the 6-yard line. They may even say the 5-yard line.
And that, Dave, that's one of the best things about Ito Smith. It seems like every time he touches the ball, he makes the first man miss. And as a running back, that's your #1 job. Make the first guy miss, because there's always someone unaccounted for.
2nd down and goal from the 5-yard line. 50% touchdowns for Southern Miss in red zone. This is a very good red zone defense for the Noles. Griggs, a lot of pressure there. He'll get it to Smith, but they're waiting for him. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage. Jacob Pugh making the tackle.
And Dave, you alluded to that red zone success. Southern Miss, with Griggs on the football field, is stronger when he's a starter. 16 touchdowns, 25 possessions. Compare that when he doesn't start, 5 touchdowns, 17 possessions. He changes the way his team plays down here because of his ability to run the RPO system and threat teams with his feet.
3rd and goal, plenty of time. Griggs has some room to run to the left. It's the foot race. Can he beat Burns to the end zone? Touchdown, USM. Well, there's one of the better foot races we'll watch today. Brian Burns and Quadre Griggs both racing for that pylon. And let's see if he did indeed get in.
Looks pretty clear to me, but right on cue. Griggs breaking the pocket, utilizing his creativity for what appears to be the first score of the ball game.
And they brought out the swinging gate, then closed it. And they've got an excellent kicker in Parker Schoenfield. First team All-Conference USA, also All-Academic in Conference USA. So the big personal foul penalty changed this drive. Instead of a punt, the PAT, by the way, was missed just for the second time in his career. But the personal foul penalty kept the drive alive, and Quadre Griggs took full advantage and just eludes a defender to the end zone. The PAT was missed, but it was the Quadre Griggs touchdown run from 5 yards out that has put the Golden Eagles up. First Florida State has not had the ball yet, however, so we'll see what happens. And the statistics say that's a bad omen for FSU based on what's happened this season. So Curtis Michael will have to be the holder, and we'll see if that affects the kick. Not too bad. Taken here by Rasul. He'll take a knee, and it'll be a touchback, 25-yard line. So here is James Blackmun. He didn't begin the season as the #1 quarterback, but took over in the Alabama game. He is actually the #1 true freshman passer in Florida State history. You got to go back to Chip Ferguson in 1985. That's who Blackmun surpassed this year. Out of Belgrade, Florida.
You see the talent and the potential when you watch this young man. You also see the fact that he's a freshman quarterback, the highs and the lows of the season. One thing that I really like is his running ability, but this is a young man that also is learning how to make the NFL throws that I think are necessary for him to win this job next year.
Jacques Patrick, outstanding junior running back, #9, and he'll get it, and he'll have a hole. And Patrick, a punishing, powerful runner, will get 8, almost 9. In fact, it will be 9 to the 34, second and a yard coming up.
Yeah, he's the type of player that keeps defensive backs, linebackers up at night the day before the game against him. With his pure size, it's almost impossible to bang with him 10 to 12 times a game and to not feel that. So I'm looking to see how he wears down this Golden Eagles defense today with his pure frame and his running style.
So Jacques Patrick checks out. #3, Cam Akers, a different style of running back, and he's only a freshman, has come in.
Absolutely.
He'll get it. And he might get the first down, but that is all he's going to get. Bent back by the Southern Miss defense at the bottom there. Looked like Yancey, #22, in there on the stop. Let's get to some impact players here from Ahmad today for this game.
Yeah, let me start with that freshman running back, Cam Akers. He can make multiple defenders miss. And also, Jacques Patrick, as we talked about, the big, powerful running back. And on the defensive side, watch for the young freshman, #41, Rakeem Booth. This young man can make plays. He's very versatile. And last but not least, the free safety, Tavarius Moore, quick to diagnose plays and make things happen.
Blackmun stepping in, pocket, throws long. As the catch made inbounds? No. And Florida State, as Auden Tate tried to make the grab, is missing Nyquan Murray, a late scratch. The junior from Orlando had 40 catches and 4 touchdowns on the season, but he is not available today for James Blackmun.
And I think that's a major hit to this offense. One of the more dynamic playmakers in the ACC.
He's out of the game. Cam Akers is in. Blackmun down the seam. Receiver open and is broken up in the last second at the 15-yard line. Gavin was the intended receiver. And on the drive again, another play made by Armstrong.
I've got to say that I think that ball was thrown in a very safe location by Blackmun. He saw the one-on-one coverage that you'll see here on the right side of your screen coming across to the middle. And if you're Keith Gavin, you've got to bring this ball in at 6'3", 221 pounds. Use that big frame, block out that defensive back, and go make that play. But give Cornell Armstrong credit, the vocal leader of this defense, stepping up and making a timely play for the Golden Eagles.
It is Patrick. And, oh, look at the strength. Carrying defenders to the 43 and a first down. He was hit by Riley at the line of scrimmage, and it is still a first down.
Yeah, this guy is a second effort type tailback. And Alec Eberle praised him right in front of us yesterday with Patrick in the room. He said, Coach Trickett, our offensive line coach, loves this guy because initial contact does not bring him down, and he plays with the same aggression that an offensive lineman is supposed to.
Rick Trickett, one of the real legends of this game as a line coach. Akers is the tailback this time. They'll hand it to him. Oh, he's got a hole. Tell you what, USM, it looked like that play Ahmad was going to bust. And I give the Golden Eagles defense credit because Paxton Scrimsher, number 30, and number 7, Jomez Applewhite, closed that in a hurry.
Oh, they swarm. There's one thing you won't say about this defense. They get after you, and they play extreme team defense, and they're going to have to today to tackle these backs. Whether it's Akers, who can make multiple defenders miss, or whether it's Patrick, who can just run right through you, they've got to use team defense to combat the versatility of the backfield for the Seminoles.
Blackmun had plenty of time. Pass caught by number 89, Keith Gavin. Gavin made the first man miss, and down to the 24-yard line, another FSU first down.
Those easy throws for Blackmun can really get him settled in and feeling good about himself, and that's when you can take those shots downfield. Excellent run after the catch for Keith Gavin. Nice little stutter step, stop on the sideline on a dime, and pick up some extra yardage.
Part of the 3-game win streak for USM. They have kept opponents out of the end zone in the first quarter in the last 3 games. Blackmun going to take off here. Ooh, hard hit at the 20-yard line as he turned. He was not sliding. Rakeem Booth, number 41, hit him high, and Kelsey Douglas also had his arms around him.
Now that play was defended brilliantly. Watch the pop here on the end of this play. You don't want your quarterback taking these types of shots.
There wasn't anything dirty about it either. 12th play of the drive coming up.
And guys, James Blackmun is listed at 6'5", but only 169 pounds.
Yikes.
Not only is he a quarterback, but he's pretty slight. Hasn't quite filled into that weight room program yet.
As the time, receiver open, caught, touchdown, Seminoles, Auden Tate. For Tate, his 8th touchdown catch of the season.
Outstanding touch and timing from the young quarterback as you get the ISO here on Tate. Beats the jam, releases perfectly, secures the catch. And at 6'5", 225, not sure you could have knocked that ball or jarred it loose anyhow had you been the Golden Eagles defender. And Florida State now up 7-6.
And the difference in this game so far, Ahmad, a missed extra point. Plenty of time to provided by the Seminole offensive line, and Blackmun and Tate do the rest. So both touchdown drives have been impacted by mistakes by the defense. You had personal foul penalties, actually a special teams personal foul penalty that allowed the Golden Eagles to keep going, and then you had the big break for Florida State, and they both have cashed in. The difference, a missed PAT. Into the wind, and you can see the breeze affecting that. Smith comes up, makes a tough catch at the 15, and look at Smith go here to the 38-yard line. That's a 25-yard return. Tyler on the stop. And we'll take a look now at our impact players, and we just saw one of them.
Yeah, Ito Smith, he's a complete back. I love the fact that he's returning kicks and putting that on film for the NFL. And the wide receiver, number 18, Corey Robertson. Competitive nature, NFL measurables allows him to play at a high level. And defensively for Florida State, cornerback number 4, Tavares McFadden, aggressive, strong, and talented quarterback that has the potential to be a lockdown player. And then last but not least, the sophomore defensive end, Brian Burns, who's already gotten on the stat sheet. He diagnosed and reacts to plays extremely well in the run and the pass.
Fake one way, throw the other, and man, that was read by the Seminole defense. I don't even know how the catch was made by Corey Robertson, and maybe a yard on the play. Seminoles diagnosed this perfectly.
This is great coverage, you know, and this is what you have to do if you're McFadden. You've got to hug on to that wide receiver. And the minute you see him coming back in, you've got to run that route for him. And right on cue, as we talked about McFadden, he comes out and makes an outstanding play on a wide receiver screen.
Quarterback draw. Griggs playing off a beautiful block, and Griggs puts his helmet down and gets to the 43 to get 9. That's going to be an interesting third down, about 6 coming up.
I think that's the most important part today of this Southern Miss offense. His ability to extend plays when things break down on the back end with his wide receivers or pass catches ability to be able to create separation, make something happen with your feet, Griggs. And right now, that's his strength. And so I think he needs to stick to it. It's really going to be something that this offense will rely on today to have success versus the Seminoles.
And Ahmad, that's where Florida State misses Derwin James. He was the guy on these third down packages that would roll down and kind of play middle linebacker and spy the quarterback.
Great point, Roddy.
Big pressure here from the Noles. The slant pattern broken up. Would have been short of the first down anyway. Adams was the intended receiver. And look who broke it up. Burns was in the neighborhood, but that was Nate Andrews, number 29. That's the first miss for Griggs today.
And it wasn't thrown in the right location, but I think the wide receiver could have given perhaps a better effort. And Florida State bowing their back up here and forcing a punt and giving it back to this offense that is coming off of a scoring drive.
Well, the last time we had a punt, we had a penalty. This time Florida State sort of rushes one. Fair catch signal made by Matthews. This will go into the end zone, a touchback to the 20-yard line. Bowman. They're going to screen it out here to Akers, and it was well read, but Akers made the defenders miss, makes another one miss, and what could have been a loss or maybe no gain is a 5-yard gain for Florida State on the ability of the freshman Cam Akers.
And this is where he's special right here. His elusiveness stands out when you watch film. This should have been a tackle for loss, no doubt about it. They even had numbers to the ball, but his shiftiness and his ability to get out of tackles and his vision, this young man is going to be special for sure for the Seminoles moving forward.
Coming up the 1-minute mark, want to remind everybody we're going to be hearing from Willie Taggart in our booth. He will join Ahmad and I in the second quarter as Akers gets the first down to the 45-yard line. Applewhite on the stop. So we'll get Willie Taggart's vision for this Florida State team.
And this offense will significantly change under Willie Taggart. And for those of you that are wondering if any changes have been implemented this week, they have not. Willie Taggart has just been on the sideline. He's been evaluating players, trying to pull guys off one-on-one and really determine the state of this program and also recruit as well. But this offense will look very different headed into 2018.
But the defensive line won't, as Odell Higgins is going to stay around for more years for the Garnet and Gold, down to 17 seconds, a 6-yard pickup there. And that is pretty sure that is going to be the final play of the quarter. As a matter of fact, Florida State showing no interest in snapping. That will be the end of one. The Seminoles on the move, 7-6, an eventful first quarter. Southern Miss gets a touchdown but can't convert to PAT. Aguayo made his for Florida State. And the Noles in front, looking for a 7th win and trying to avoid a losing season. It has been decades since Florida State has had one in football. Welcome back, second quarter, the Walk-Ons Independence Bowl in Shreveport. Florida State, just 4 seasons ago, when they won their national championship, had perhaps the best offense in the nation. Statistically, they were right near the top. 3 seasons later, solid, but this season, not solid. And it's one of the reasons they had a 6-6 season and had to scramble down the stretch, win 3 in a row, to become bowl eligible for a 36th straight year. Well represented, though, by the folks from Tallahassee and the Panhandle who have made it over. We start the quarter, 2nd down and 4.
Yeah, and I don't see how those offensive numbers are going to change, how they won't change with Willie Taggart taking the helm.
Now, you're not just saying that because he's standing in between us, all right? On 2nd and 4, Blackmun, deep drop. He'll throw out on the flat. Catch made by Patrick. Makes the first defender miss. Makes another one miss. Makes a 3rd miss. And he's finally dragged down out of bounds at the 33-yard line.
Now listen, I played at the University of Texas, and one of the GOATs there is Earl Campbell. I'm not putting him in the Earl Campbell category, Dave. All I'm saying is trying to tackle this guy who's busting out of the seams is you've got to bring everything you've got. You got to bring your big boy pads. Patrick, one of the more difficult runners in all of college football to drag down, and once again showing that as he makes 3 miss for the Golden Eagles.
I don't think he has the thighs that
He does.
I can't even imagine
you're
how
right.
that guy ever fit into a pair of pants without ripping them or anything. Down the middle of the field, catch made and a big hit just shy of the 5-yard line. Tate with another great grab. Armstrong defended him. Moore is the one who hit him high and hard, but no flag. And the first down for the Noles is the 7-yard line.
Yeah, if you want to be the man and you're Tate, this is what you got to do. Catch balls in traffic. You've got this big, large frame. Utilize it at 6'5", 225 pounds. Blackmun here puts a dart right in there, and he saw the pressure coming, saw the contact, did not avoid the hit, hauls in the catch. Tate with already some big catches today, looking to make a name for himself.
Now we're going to have an offsides call. Free play here for Blackmun, and there's no defender for Akers. He'll walk into the end zone. Touchdown. Let's make sure it's an offsides call.
Offside, number 9, defense. Penalty is declined. The result of the play is a touchdown.
So more red zone success for the Garnet and Gold.
And that is 22 consecutive red zone chances, and they've scored on 22 in a row. Great job of slipping Akers out into the flat. This is a bust defensively. That's a guy that you don't want to lose track of, and for the Golden Eagles, they do, and it cost them giving up a touchdown.
Oh, and a doink on the PAT. So we have had 2 point-after touchdowns from very reliable kickers missed. The goalpost, and he never loses these battles. As Chris Berman would say, doink. Take a look at Florida State leading 13-6. We've had both teams now missing PATs. I mean, we're not talking about bad turf here or grass or anything like that. It's just little mistakes made by the kickers. Turf here is field turf. It's in great shape. And kickoff drifting toward the goal line, caught at the 1 by Tez Parks. And Parks had to hesitate, and then hesitating on a KOR is rough. He won't even get to the 20-yard line. Has some time here, can't find an open man. Now down the middle in the double. Oh, look at the receiver, find the ball. Then it's dropped, and it's going to be ruled incomplete. Quez Watkins had his hands on it. He did a remarkable job to find the ball, but ultimately he could not hang on. It's second down.
I'm glad you talked about his spotting ability when the ball was in the air, because his ball was underthrown. He had to come back. And the defensive backs for Florida State, particularly Nate Andrews, who's coming underneath to provide underneath coverage, just overruns it. And a great adjustment there to come back to the ball. Just couldn't finish the catch. Wes Watkins missed an opportunity for a big throw.
It was Kyle Myers who ended up breaking up the play, so they go back to Smith. That's always a smart call. He'll get solidly 5 yards there, sets up 3rd down and 5. By the way, Smith in FBS, over 4,000 yards on the ground and over 1,400 yards as a receiver. That puts him 10th all time. That's how good he has been.
That's impressive.
Adams in motion. Quick throw. Too high. McFadden in coverage that time, and depending on who you're rooting for, that was either a great defensive play or pass interference.
And this is where McFadden excels. He's very aggressive. He's assertive on the edge. He likes to press. He loves the challenge of locking people up one-on-one. Very aggressive play that end in his favor.
So Zach Everett will be back. Now, this is the first time that he has had to punt into this wind, which is about 10 to 15 miles an hour at times. And DJ Matthews is back deep. Little pressure coming this time. The rugby kick comes out low with a lot of spin. And Matthews with a smart play there to hustle up to grab that at the 30-yard line. That could still be rolling if he doesn't do that. We promise you a chance with new Florida State head coach Willie Taggart. He'll be joining Ahmad and I in the booth here at the Walk-Ons Independence Bowl when we come back. So Willie Taggart, as a head coach at Western Kentucky, got that program really going before he left to go to Tampa and the University of South Florida. Got that program really going. Then went to Oregon for a year, but has come back to Florida. The Bradenton native is now, of course, the head coach at Tallahassee. He joins Ahmad and I. Congratulations first on the job.
Thank you very much.
And if you don't mind telling the story a little bit again about the decision, how torn you were between Eugene, which is a great spot, and coming back to Florida.
It was tough. You know, Rob Mullins gave me an opportunity to go to Oregon and be a Power 5 coach, and everything was on the up and up. You know, we was recruiting well. We got the program back, winning, and made great relationships with our alumni, our boosters, and more importantly with our players. And that was tough because those young men, they bought into everything we did there and everything we asked them to do, and that helped with the turnaround. So it was really tough making that decision, but it was one of those decisions, you know, like I say, it was one of those things, like I say, it was a dream job, you know, and so it was tough from that standpoint.
Well, certainly you've had a hectic last few weeks. How would you describe it?
It's been fun. You know, now it's the 4th time taking over a program. You're kind of used to it a little bit, the challenges that comes with it, and it's been fun. You know, the people in Tallahassee are really excited, you know, and you go out recruiting, players are excited, and you get a lot of phone calls from coaches, so it's just part of the challenge.
Coach, when you have a blue blood program like Florida State, I always tell people like myself going to Texas, you don't choose those places choose you. And why Florida State, and was it the only job you would have left Eugene for to take a head coaching opportunity?
It was. Florida State's always been that dream job for me. As a kid, I always wanted to play at Florida State. Wasn't good enough. I wish Coach Bowden would have recruited me there and probably had another national championship. But it's been that dream job. Something you've been working really hard to get to that point, and not in a million years I thought it would happen right now, you know. And yes, this was the only job I would have left Eugene for. You know, had a great thing going there in Eugene. Great people. Great administration, and having a relationship with Phil Knight was big time.
Yeah. We have an injury, unfortunately. It is a Seminole. It's Izzo who is shaken up on the play. The Seminoles have moved down into Southern Miss territory. As you looked over this team, how do you what do you look at? What have you seen so far as you have been able to watch some practices for the bowl prep and all the recruiting and that? What have you seen out of this group?
There's a lot of talent out there, you know, and being able to watch practice was pretty cool to see, and guys flying around. I think Odell has done a great job of keeping the team together, considering all the things they've been through the last couple of weeks. And for them to fight like they did at the end to get bowl eligible said a lot about this football team.
And just from the observation of being now in Tallahassee, what have you seen, and is this still the job that you expected it to be once you arrived?
It is. You know, we have great players. I told one of my buddies the other day, there's some toys out there to work with now. You know, great players. We just got to get back to playing team football, you know, and playing with passion and being excited about.
And right on cue, Willie, as soon as you said that, we just saw Akers make a play that very few people can do. He was absolutely trapped behind the line and is able to burst into the clear for a 32-yard gain. This is an important opportunity for you. Obviously, you've had other chances to build up. I don't know if you ever walked into a place with those kind of toys before. I mean, Oregon maybe, but still, I mean, you've got Akers, you've got some guys coming back. How much salesmanship have you done with the current players?
For me personally, just trying to get to know those guys, you know, and that's going to take some time for me to get to know each and every last one of them. But getting to know them getting to know me is really key for us all coming together. And I think for a football team, that's one thing we have to do is come together. And I would love to see these guys play for each other. And I think once we see that, we'll see something special in this football team again.
And Ahmad and I are talking with Florida State's new head coach, Willie Taggart.
Yeah, speaking of coming together, assembling your staff is the next big project for you. I heard you say early in the week you will not rush this process. You want to make sure you get the right guys. How's that process coming along, Coach?
Oh, it's going well. Like I said, getting a lot of phone calls, a lot of interest in being here, but it's so important that we get the right fit, you know, for what we want to do at Florida State. And like I said, I got a lot of options. I just want to get the right guys in there to help us lead these young men.
Well, there's a drop in the end zone, a receiver wide open, unable to hang on to it. A move you made, Odell Haggins is going to stay. He is a Florida State guy through and through. What was behind that decision?
Well, I just watched Odell over the last couple of weeks with the football team and how much respect those players have for him, and his passion for Florida State has been big time, and been on the road with him recruiting. He does a great job recruiting. He's great in the home, but it's easy to be great at that when you're passionate about something, you believe in something. And he's Florida State through and through, and something that, again, when I talk about fit, he's the kind of guy I want on this football team.
For all the Florida State fans that are watching this game right now, many of them are expecting offensive changes. What can they expect to see from your offense with you as the head coach of Florida State?
I don't think they'll see a huddle again.
I like it.
And I think you'll see the tempo pick up a little more than what you've seen here lately. But again, we're going to try to get our guys in space and let these athletes do what they do, and try to score a lot of points. We like explosive plays, and trying to have a lot of explosive plays in this offense.
We have a 29-yard field goal attempt coming up here for Aguayo. Made 15 of his last 16 field goals. Haven't had kicked that many lately, actually. Only one since November 4th, the Syracuse game. And this one is true, so the Seminoles expand their lead to 16-6. We want to thank you, Willie, very much for your time. We want to wish you the very best in Tallahassee with the Seminoles, and I know everybody in Seminole Nation is very, very excited.
Thank you guys very much for having me on, and hope to see you in Tallahassee one day.
Love to do
Indeed.
it. Noles up by 10. We'll return to Shreveport in a moment. This one's been very interesting. Florida State's had 3 possessions. They've scored 3 times. Lead it by 10. This will be Parks. Couple of yards deep in the end zone. He wants to go. Stumbled a bit, and that's going to cost him. So instead of perhaps the 25-yard line, the Seminoles cover it beautifully. And now
Welcome back to Shreveport, where I'm here with an absolute legend, the GOAT, Deion Sanders. Is it cold enough out here for you?
It's freezing. It is freezing out here. I'm not joking. My son is up there in the box chilling, texting me about how warm it is in the box up there.
Now, I heard you were texting with Brett Favre. He was down on the sideline, but he's up in the box now, too, so you're the only one down here freezing.
And if I had known he was coming, we'd have put a little suitable wager on the game.
You guys had a lot of great battles, you and Brett. What's your best memory of him? Obviously, he's a Southern Miss alum, but what's your best memory of him?
Taking him shopping when he played for the Falcons. You know, I went shopping for him in the inner city. that was hilarious. And I don't think he wore any of the clothing that I purchased for him.
Now I see you're around the program. You're around talking to these guys.
I'm back.
What has the conversation been through this transition that you've had with some of these players?
First of all, they're excited about Coach Taggart. Mr. Wilcox, the AD's done a phenomenal job of putting a real, true team together that has the heart for these kids and the heart for Florida State University. And these kids are excited. I mean, it's like the expectation. They know it's coming, and it's a new day here.
Now, we're reporting that you're in early discussions about the possibility to come back and join Willie Taggart's staff. What can you comment on that?
You never know. I've been known to make big plays with these colors on. That's all I'm going to say.
Now, you certainly did make a ton of big plays. I'm sure you've been asked this throughout the years. What's your best memory in a Florida State uniform?
Just my teammates, man. That freshman class I came in with, and Odell was my roommate. Odell Haggins was my roommate. And some of these guys that we share so much. Nothing that transpired on the field, but really off the field in Burt Reynolds Hall and those dorm rooms and the unity that we shared.
Now, we got a chance to talk to Coach Haggins yesterday, and he talked about getting back to Florida State football. You're one of the guys that helped set what Florida State football is. What does that mean to you?
Just the work ethic, the knowledge of the game, and then you have fun. Some kind of way they got it mixed up. They try to have fun, and they don't understand the work ethic and the knowledge of the game. We got to get back to the basics.
Absolutely. It looks like you guys just recovered a fumble, so you may be good luck for this Florida State team.
I don't believe in luck, but I believe in hard work. And Coach Taggart is awesome. I'm there behind him 100% of the way, and I'm happy to be back.
Well, Deion, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
God bless you. Hey, Brett, you owe me, man.
Well, you're not kidding about a substantial wager from those two cats. The fumble was forced by Stanford Samuels III, only a freshman, and recovered by A.J. Westbrook, 2 Floridians, one from the south, one from Central East in Daytona Beach. Coming up for this play.
Watch how aggressive he is in his tackling. And the one thing you want to do, when I teach tackling, I teach you want to gather your feet, you want to close down that separation, and then you want to strike. And he did it perfectly well. The young man coming up, making a big hit, and a very important takeaway for the Seminoles.
High formation. Don't think we'll see many of those with Willie Taggart around next season. Cam Akers will run it for, oh my! He snuck out of there. I was looking at the officials starting to mark him down at the 22, but Akers squirted away for 4 more to get to the 18. That's a gain of nearly 8.
Yeah, and we got a chance to, when we talked to Jacquez yesterday about Cam Akers, he said this young man came in and was relying a lot on his talent when he originally arrived on campus. But since that time, he's running with more purpose. He's more forceful. And he's a kid that, despite having juke moves, can run you over when he needs to, and he just showed you there.
Well, Blackmun got hit right around the head. He's going to have to take off. And Blackmun showing some great running ability, having to ad-lib there before Booth brings him down. Short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and 2. Oh, boy. Patrick is the tailback here. Play action fake to him. He stays in the block and does a nice job. There's the throw to tight end Izzo, and he'll get the first down at the 10-yard line. And Patrick just adding to that NFL resume, that time as a blocker.
Yeah, and that's what you want to do. Show teams that you can pass protect, keeping your quarterback clean in the pocket. And Blackmun has one of those elongated throwing motions. You saw it there. You'd like to see him hasten that up at times to be able to get the ball out in the flat and make those short throws, but a good connection there to his tight end Izzo.
They bring in the fullback, Neighbors, number 32. He'll swing out of the backfield and throw to the end zone. Caught, touchdown. 23 straight red zone scores for the Noles, and Tate with the grab.
A complete mismatch in the red zone. If you are going to go man-to-man with Tate at 6'5", 225 pounds, that time there, he wasn't even covered. But when you do, it's not a good matchup for the defense because of his size, his leaping ability, and his ability to also attack the football in the air and haul in those catches. Another big red zone play from Tate.
Well, that is 2 touchdowns for Tate. 3 touchdown passes by Blackmun. And PATs have been unintentionally exciting today, but that one was drilled down the gut by Aguayo. So Florida State is on an offensive roll right now. So Florida State, when they're ahead at halftime, 6 out of 7. Southern Miss batting .500 with our score 23-6 Florida State. Let's send you to the studio where Chris Cotter, Greg McElroy, and Gene Chizik are standing by. Gentlemen, it is all yours. And welcome back to the Walk-Ons Independence Bowl, part of Capital One Bowl Mania. Now, after a bit of a slow start, Florida State took control of the first half and leads Southern Mississippi 23-6. Along with Roddy Jones, we'll be hearing from him in just a moment. We've got Ahmad Brooks here. I'm Dave Lamont. We thank you for joining us. And Ahmad, we talked at the very top of the show. What about the focus for the Seminoles? And it looked a little shaky early, but what do you think now?
Well, they've got the motivation, and they proved that. It was a rough start. They came out having some early jitters, penalties, but this team has certainly buttoned that up. I thought the performance from James Blackmun, the young quarterback, really started to find his groove, and this defensive line for Florida State has taken over the ball game.
Got Amir Rasul and Keith Gavin awaiting a kick. And it's going to be out of bounds. And this will be Florida State taking the football at the 35-yard line. Now let's check in with Roddy.
Yeah, Dave, I had a chance to catch up with Southern Miss head coach Jay Hobson just after halftime. And he said that his message to his team was there's a lot more football left to play. He said little mistakes on each side have caused this deficit, and against a team like Florida State, you just can't make those mistakes. He said coming out and getting a stop early will be the most important, and then converting on 3rd downs. That's the biggest thing that he's looking for his team in the second half.
All right, Roddy, thank you. I formation to open things up for FSU with Blackmun under center. Top of the I will be Jacquez Patrick, and he'll get it. Going behind his fullback Neighbors, and Patrick will fight to the 40-yard line for 5. 2nd down and 5 coming up.
Patrick on the carry, gain of 5.
And so it's interesting because we had Willie Taggart in here, Ahmad, earlier, and we know this offense is not going to be like that. So you had an I formation. It's almost like Odell Hagens and his staff are going, here, take a good long last look at this before the Taggart era begins.
You're 100% right.
Play action fake. Plenty of time now. Blackmun on the run. Hits Patrick, who is open underneath. And Patrick, again, showing how hard it is for one person to bring him down. Gets to midfield for a gain of 10.
That was an excellent decision from the young quarterback, Blackmun. He was looking for Keith Gavin over the top on a post route, but came back to his check down after maneuvering very well in the pocket. And those are the decisions that if he wants to win this job next year, he's going to have to play that well. We know that he's probably a better runner than Francois, but it'll be his passing ability that I think will give him the edge if he's going to win the job.
This will be Akers. Look at him bounce this outside in one beautiful motion before he is finally cut down at the 23-yard line. And he has just set the freshman rushing yards record held by Dalvin Cook, which was 1,008, and Akers needed 79. He now has 1,019.
Productive, you know, and just the time that you think this kid is an outside runner, he'll pop one up the middle with that same type of wiggle. He got a good block on the outside edge, but that quickness and that burst and acceleration make him extremely difficult to tackle.
Blackmun incomplete. He gunned that one for Keith Gavin right around the goal line. It'll be incomplete. Second down and 10 coming up. And again, Akers, 15 receptions, so they used him out of the backfield. And so now Akers has moved past Dalvin Cook. You had to go all the way back. What Dalvin Cook had to do was he broke a record that was at that time 23 years old.
And Akers now has to avoid that sophomore slump. You know, for guys that play and have early success like Cam Akers, it's easy to sit back and think you've arrived. But if this young man keeps working with the same work ethic and discipline he has, his future is very bright.
Make that 33 years old. That's so long ago. That time, however, the Golden Eagle defense was more than worthy as Curtis Michael, second-team All-Conference USA, a senior from Bassfield, Mississippi, in there on the stop. It'll be 3rd and 10.
Ahmad, you made a great point about Cam Akers and that sophomore slump. We saw it with Dalvin Cook when in his first year he split carries, and then in his second year he became the bell cow, and he was able to respond in a big way. Florida State's going to hope that Cam Akers does the same thing, depending on whether or not Jacquez Patrick decides to come back for his senior season or go to the NFL.
4 out of 6 third downs for the Seminoles. Blackmun has the time. The pocket formed, and Ahmad, was the pass late or the cut late?
It looked that Gavin was a little sloppy coming out of his break there. And that was a comeback route, a deeper developing route, great protection from the Seminoles offensive line. And I thought the timing was good from Blackmun. He got it out a little earlier, but it just appeared as though Keith Gavin couldn't gather his feet and come out clean of his break to make that catch.
So Ricky Aguayo will come on. Jared Jackson to hold. This would be 39 yards. And the breeze that we had earlier, right now, those little orange flags in the goalposts are pretty quiet. High snap. Very well handled by the holder Jackson, and Aguayo is true. So Florida State building on their lead, 26-6. We'll see what Southern Mississippi can do when they get the football for the first time in this quarter. Seminoles pick up a field goal on their opening drive of the third quarter to expand their lead to the highest it's been so far today, 26-6. And the Walk-Ons Independence Bowl on a chilly day in Shreveport. Jones and Smith back deep. Coming up, this will be Ito Smith. And this time he cannot make a miss. Great coverage by the Seminoles defensively. Rasul in there with the stop. So Florida State, the last 5 seasons, they have seen incredible highs. I mean, they had Jameis Winston win a Heisman Trophy in 2013 and a national championship, their first since 1999. Then they get to the playoff semifinals, but lost to Marcus Mariota in Oregon. Then they did all right but they couldn't beat Clemson. Not many did in that stretch. And of course, this season 6-6, and a new head coach in Willie Taggart replacing the new coach at Texas A&M, Jimbo Fisher.
And I think both Florida State and Fisher needed a change, and you know, you hope it works out for Willie Taggart, and especially with the fertile recruiting base that he has, to be able to bring in some talent to operate that offense that he has.
So here is Griggs, and his pass is batted down to the line of scrimmage and nearly intercepted. I think that was DeMarcus Christmas collapsing the pocket there, number 90, who got a hand on that pass. It'll be second down and 10.
Yeah, and you know, it was shocking even as a college football fan when you saw the news come through that Jimbo was going to A&M.
Well, there are some people that will tell you that that wasn't a big surprise. As soon as Jimbo started to complain about things up there, that it started to frost a few people and rub them the wrong way, whether that was his subconscious way of starting to grease the skids for his exit, or whether he just was upset about something and only he knows. Griggs, that's a tough throw into coverage, and it is incomplete. The coverage that time by number 14, Kyle Myers, who had a critical breakup earlier, trying to get it to Isaiah Jones. You know, the one player, guys, that has been taken out of the game plan, Corey Robertson, the fine receiver for the Golden Eagles, number 18, is just 2 catches for 15 yards. That's it.
Well, they play aggressive man-to-man coverage here, and so Levante Taylor, who I believe is a young, bright star from Virginia Beach, Virginia. In addition to that, McFadden, who wasn't supposed to play, according to various reports, both of those guys were doing a nice job of getting his pads and making it difficult for him to get off the line of scrimmage.
Everett into punt. Oh, they'll throw a fake, and this is going to work. This is going to be a first down and a whole lot more for Southern Mississippi. They needed a spark, and they throw it to Alan Fales Jr., who is a linebacker, and it's a trick that succeeds.
What a gutsy call.
And a nice pass by Everett.
From Jay Hobson. You know, this is not the area where you expect a fake, for sure. Normally in between both 20s, but it sets up perfectly. Executed to perfection. And now the Golden Eagles offense back out on the field, and that could be the momentum they need to get things going after being stagnant and held to few yards since their opening drive, where they were able to punch one in for a score.
Ito Smith, T-Rod Daniels in the backfield for Griggs. His throw, and McFadden almost picked it. They went to Robertson, and maybe part of the problem is that McFadden has just become Robertson's not BFF today.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a lot of jaw-jacking going on from McFadden. He plays the position with the right demeanor, and he's still developing in his skill set. I think at times when you watch him on film as an NFL prospect, his aggression can get him into trouble, but it's also his strength. And so he's still battling on when to be aware and when to have aggression at the line of scrimmage, but a fine play from number 4.
Delay, no chance, absolutely no chance. Derek Noddy, a big senior from Virginia Beach, 6'1", all of 310, stuffing that.
I love these kids. I love them. Yeah, I mean, and talking to the staff here at Florida State, he's a player that plays the zero technique right over the center, but he's ideal for a 3 technique or a shade at the next level. Very stout run stopper, built low to the ground, great center of gravity, and he's playing in his last game as a Florida State Seminole.
He'll be missed, a leader, but in a quiet way. Now Griggs in some trouble here, stumbled a bit, goes back and just missed the receiver who would have had a first down. Robertson had that pass connected. He was right at the first down marker at the 45-yard line. So I don't know if they have another fake plan here for Zach Everett. But you know, it's funny, that 25-yard gain is the longest pass play Southern Miss has had today.
Well, that explains why you've only got 6 points for sure, and you've got to give credit to Florida State's defense. After that first drive and some costly penalties on special teams, they've come back out, and they have played like their hair is on fire.
I guess we'll be talking about this when we come back. And players from both the schools celebrated part of their Christmas by sharing a meal together with the men and women at nearby Barksdale Air Force Base. I'm sure a little caroling going on, looks like there. Right now, though, the party is if you're wearing garnet and gold. 8:05 to go in this third quarter. The Seminoles with the football again. Jaquez Patrick at the tailback, and the discussion we're about to start here, it revolves around players who have decided, and this is a very recent trend, to sit out bowl games in order to protect their NFL status to avoid injury. We're going to go Patrick here, and he's going to get double teamed for a 1-yard pickup. So, Ahmad, I'll start with you. We saw Christian McCaffrey skip the Sun Bowl last year, top 10 pick, by the way. Leonard Fournette, top 4 pick. They both set out their bowl games. We're not going to see Derwin James today for Florida State. He is a almost guaranteed first-round pick. He's concerned about that, along with some other players, by the way, who are skipping it. So what do you think of this new trend?
Well, let me preface it by saying if you're a top 10 pick, I understand the potential of maybe you trying to preserve your body.
That's a great catch coming back to the football there by DJ Matthews, and a first down at the 41-yard line.
And to avoid the risk of injury. However, now, with guys that aren't top 10 picks, I really have an axe to grind with them. Partly because the bowl game is all about coming out here, having a good time, wrapping up the season with your mates. The memories that are created at bowl games, and I played in all 4 of them, are some of the best moments of my life. That being said, I also think you can improve your draft status by playing. And I really have an issue with this. And so James, I can understand, as James Blackmun finds his tight end Izzo for another first down. I love the fact that this is possible now, but what I hate the most is that you also lose sight on the game in terms of NFL scouts. If your big players are not here, trust me, there were some guys in NFL scouts that did not come today because James wasn't playing. Just keep that in mind when you're one of those guys that has an opportunity, could step away from a ball game, because that's something more than anything that I really have a hard time understanding, especially considering the rookie salary cap now that has drastically limited the amount of salaries and money these kids can make in their first year as rookies.
This is DJ Matthews as Blackmun, who took a real shot on the previous play, able to get off the completion for 7. Now, Derwin James has got a teammate, Josh Sweat, a junior defensive end who's not playing today. But there are others, a couple from Texas. Royce Freeman at Oregon, a senior running back, has decided to skip his bowl game.
And Dave and Ahmad, you know, I kind of fall on the opposite side of this issue as Ahmad. You know, I look at what these guys can potentially make at the next level, and even though there is a rookie wage scale now that limits compared to what it was back in the day when you were playing, Ahmad, when you were coming out of Texas, it's still millions of dollars, which is more money than most of us will make in our entire lives. We're talking about the amount of money that can create generational wealth for these guys. So if you have 60 minutes from the end of your season until making those millions of dollars, I can't be mad at you whatsoever for protecting your body and protecting, honestly, the investment that you've made in your football career. So, you know, I certainly don't like it if it happens on a large scale and you see guys lower down start to do it. But for those guys, first, second-round picks, hey, man, go get your money. We expect everybody to treat this like a business except for the athletes, so I support them in their decision.
And the other thing you don't ever see is you don't see the guys in the playoff games doing it.
Yeah,
you know,
of course
you see
not.
guys in the bowl games that are not in that playoff echelon.
Because, again, they're steps away from millions.
They've got some bulk in the backfield now. And Patrick, so hard to bring down, and they can't do it until he gets in the end zone. They added Frederick Jones from the defense, number 55, to lead the parade of blockers. Patrick's so tough, and Florida State has blown this game open.
Well, here's a guy today that battled through some injuries this year. He came out, and we asked him, we said, why did you play today? He said, you know what, man, I just love playing ball. I am not going to miss an opportunity to play one more time with my guys and to be out and to be able to send this team out the right way. I admire that type of courage and confidence in your ability to keep yourself from getting injured, but also the effort that comes along because he is an NFL prospect as well.
Oh, and that size. Oh, man, absolutely.
Beast.
Jaquez Patrick, you might see him on Sundays sooner rather than later. Only he knows the answer to that. Welcome back to the Walk-Ons Independence Bowl, part of Capital One Bowl Mania. We are in Shreveport. And inside that tent is James Blackmun, the FSU quarterback. And here's what happened. He gets double teamed here. And you notice that left knee braced up already. And that may be what's being looked at in there now. Roddy Jones is in the neighborhood keeping an eye on things for us. 33 unanswered points for the Seminoles. A couple of yards deep, Mrs. Smith. 25-yard line is where he will be brought down. Seminoles. Southern Miss has got to find their offense and find it very, very quickly. There is Jaquez.
I know people in the ACC are hoping that this young man decides to take his talents to the NFL, but for those Seminoles fans out there, they'd love to see him and Akers at it one more year together.
So on the ground, it's Smith trying to bounce off tacklers, and is he ever? What a great run this is by Smith down the sideline and right around midfield. He is run out of bounds. That'll be a 24-yard gain and a tremendous run by Ito Smith.
Yeah, this guy's patience, as you alluded to earlier, Dave. Watch him. He's as patient as a parent dealing with a toddler. He just takes his time. He lets the play develop, his blocking in front of him develop. And Ito doing a fine job of getting to the outside edge and showing his acceleration and burst.
Catch made there by Staggers. He is brought down immediately for 1 yard. 2nd down and 9. Ito Smith, 2,300-yard games in his career. He's got 82 so far. And again, that is not the name on his birth certificate. He's known as Romarius, but someone in the family, a relative, thought he looked like the famed judge from the O.J. Simpson trial, Lance Ito, so that's how he became Ito.
Amazing how things stick.
I mean, he was born in 1995. And he's, by the way, completely okay with it. And that'll be a gain down to the 43 on the run there by Griggs, a redshirt junior from Greenwood, Mississippi. So it sets up 3rd down and 3. And Smith, a senior from Mobile, first team All-Conference USA, owns a ton of records at Southern Mississippi. And in his career, those 2,300-yard career games ties him for 3rd place, active with Nick Chubb. That's how good Ito Smith has been. He really hangs with some prestigious football players in his career. He'll get the direct snap. Now they'll run a trick play. The throw back to the quarterback, Griggs. The throw came from Staggers, and Griggs was wide open on the near sideline. So the 2nd time we've seen Southern Miss succeed with a trick play.
Yeah, he tried to dupe, Griggs did, the defense by coming out, pretending as though he was checking the play off, and it was just a direct snap to Ito Smith, who came around, pitched it to the wide receiver. Well-designed play, executed the way you draw that thing up, and a big gain for the Golden Eagles.
So $1:20 remaining in this 3rd quarter. Now back to Smith, again playing off of the block, and it's a good one too. Smith will get inside the 15 with another fine move. He was following Jerry Harris, and that seems like a pretty smart idea, and that's going to be another 1st down for USM.
Yeah, that play is really working for them right now. They're bringing an offensive lineman pulling from the backside, and he's just hiding in behind them and finding space and taking off at the right time to gain positive yardage.
He is listed at 5'9", 193. Ahmad, is that going to be any kind of drawback for the pros?
Not when you're running like that.
One-on-one, breaking into the end zone past McFadden for the touchdown. And Robertson gets away to make the grab for 6. So Corey Robertson and Tavares McFadden have had their own game going on, and Robertson gets the best of it this time as the swinging gate is set up by Southern Miss. Florida State covering it. And now they close the gate. Parker Schoenfield is out. He missed a PAT earlier today. Very surprising. He's an excellent kicker. Then he blasts that one straight and true. The 33-point run broken by that touchdown.
Yeah, McFadden here, it appeared as though he was anticipating a back shoulder fade here. You watch him in the ISO, and he's going to turn over his left shoulder rather than turning over his right shoulder and pinning the wide receiver to the boundary. That told me he was anticipating an underneath throw.
And there it is. And it's caught by Florida State. There's a flag down. Might be an offside here. It was caught by Carlos Becker III. And for half a blink, I thought he might take it all the way.
Number 3 on the kicking team. The 5-yard penalty will be assessed from the end of the run. 1st and 10.
And they're usually right.
I don't really like the timing of this, especially since your offense is finally scoring. But I also understand, too, that this offense has struggled getting going. And you see it here, clearly offsides, and that's unfortunate. However, for Florida State, now you've got a short field. You would imagine at this point in the ball game, Florida State will continue to hand it off to their running backs. Cam Akers, 11 carries, 88 yards, averaging over right at 8 yards a pop. Jaquez Patrick, 14 carries, 57 yards, averaging over 4 with a touchdown. And they have been your workhorses today. I think you go back to them and perhaps surprise them by getting Blackmun involved in the running game as well.
Well, the visit to the medical tent was a productive one for Blackmun. He fires the pass, and Izzo with another grab. He takes some shots, but he continues to keep getting up. That's a gain of 6 to the 24-yard line.
Yeah, Dave, you mentioned that trip to the medical tent for James Blackmun. No other quarterback even warmed up. I think he told those guys before he went in there that he was coming back out. There was no concern on this Florida State sideline at all about him returning to this game.
Yeah, that is 6 targets and 6 catches for Izzo for 59 yards. Down to 7 seconds. Will they snap it? Yeah, we'll have one more play in the quarter. The handoff to Akers. He'll bounce it outside. They were waiting for him, but he is very, very close, and think he has the first down at the 20-yard line before the collision with Moore drove him out of bounds. 3 quarters down in the books. Florida State undefeated in 6 games when leading or tied after the 3rd quarter, and they're up by 20 here at the Walk-Ons Independence Bowl in Shreveport. Florida State in control of this moment here in Shreveport, 33-13. And the 2nd quarter was the big one so far, with the Seminoles putting up 16-0. And at one point had a 33-0 run. And they are perfect this 6-win season when taking the lead or being even after 3 quarters.
And what about the job of this Florida State staff that they've done? Despite not having the coaches they have, I think we counted up yesterday a total of 8 coaches, including graduate assistants as well as the head coach.
Yeah.
And they're doing a fine job today of game planning.
Blackmun on the run, in a little bit of trouble. His legs will get him out of there, and he's trying to get out of bounds before he absorbs any more contact, and he did. Picked up 5 there. Yeah, you've got a few holdovers. You've got some who left, and then Willie Taggart bringing in Odell Higgins, bringing him back, which seems to me like an absolutely brilliant move and an easy decision to make. And then we'll see what Willie Taggart is in. As he told us in the interview in the 2nd quarter, he's not in a huge hurry, and his phone is ringing off the hook.
I bet.
Little stretch play action here, and good job by the Golden Eagles defense to cut that down after about a half of a yard pickup.
Ahmad, you talked about the job that this Florida State coaching staff has done game planning, but from a motivation standpoint, I mean, I played in a bowl game where I was redshirt, and I was a part of a Georgia Tech team where Chan Gailey got fired after the last game of the year. Paul Johnson had been named head coach. John Tenuta was our interim coach, and I'm going to be honest, motivation was an issue for that team. This Florida State team has absolutely responded to everything that Odell Higgins has thrown out there, and motivation has not been an issue here today.
Well, I announced that game, and yes, and you played Fresno State too, which didn't help. To the end zone, catch made, touchdown! Auden Tate's 3rd touchdown of the day. That is a season high for James Blackmun with 4 touchdown passes. And that is also an Independence Bowl record.
Wow. And he's going to the largest wide receiver on either roster Auden Tate, 6'5", 225. Can't say enough about his leaping ability, his ability to tack the football. And that time there had several inches on the defensive back and made him pay with perfect timing on his jump. Great coordination along the sideline.
Oh, and a snap did not go well at all. There's marker down, however. So back here at the Walk-Ons Independence Bowl. What a day for Florida State. And Tate with 3 touchdown catches out of 5 receptions and 84 yards. And Blackmun now with an Independence Bowl record, 4 touchdown passes, 18 of 26. Tate has tied an Independence Bowl record that was set by Jalen Samuels of North Carolina State in 2016.
During the interval after the score, number 22, Florida State has changed jerseys. He is now wearing number 85.
We had over 33,000 in attendance here today. This game really is a tradition in this city. They're very important to the folks of Shreveport.
I must say, the diet out here has been outstanding. It's been a while since I've been in the state of Louisiana, being a former New Orleans Saint, and the crawfish etouffee was amazing.
This is Isaiah Jones breaking a couple of tackles, and he gets outside the 30. They're going to say he was down at the 31-yard line. Yes. This is Robertson on a little look in there, and he'll pick up 8. He's starting to warm up a little bit with Quadre Griggs. Southern Miss in an interesting conference. This was the big story in Conference USA was Florida Atlantic with Lane Kiffin, who just got a 10-year deal, which very few people think he will stay for, but he's staying for a 2nd year, which some people didn't even think he would do that. And they ended up dominating the conference after a slow start to their season. So they're the standard bearer at the moment in Conference USA. Nothing there. It'll be 3rd down and a yard coming up.
I can't say enough about this Florida State front and what they've been able to do. And the key for me in this ball game was dominant run defense, and they've done that. They've given up 125 yards. However, they've stopped them in costly situations, and part of that has been the ability to build a wall there and to force these running backs to have to bounce things outside to pick up yardage.
3 out of 11 on 3rd downs today. Seminoles 37% on the season, and that's all they've allowed so far today. 24th in total defense, by the way. Mentioned that USM was 17th. They got to hurry and get the snap off here in 2, and they do. On the ground, no. 3 of 12. Jalen Wilkerson, number 30, busted that play up.
Once again, this defensive line, just individual efforts up front, winning their matchup. And that's what big-time college football is all about. And when you can rely on the guy next to you to win his matchup, those are the teams that make the greatest runs. And, you know, this is a Florida State team that could be a force to be reckoned with as the Golden Eagles try to go for it on 4th down here. With the right pieces coming back, this team could be back where we know them to be with a prominent record.
They'll option it. Absolutely not. This is going to be a significant loss. And Stanford Samuels III, just a freshman out of Pembroke Pines in western Broward County, diagnosed and destroyed the play.
I can tell you one thing, he's not is scared. We've seen him make a few plays today. He is fearless on the edge. He comes up, he hits, he tackles. A complete defensive back prospect.
And by the way, you need to have your workout on to lift that trophy. And if you stay after the game and join Roddy Jones and everybody else, it will be the Capital One post-game trophy ceremony immediately following the game. That will be on ESPN3, and our man Roddy will be your MC. J.J. Cosentino comes in to play quarterback for FSU. And they'll stretch to the right with Patrick again. And it takes about 7 in the black and yellow to bring him down. So Constantino out of Pennsylvania, 6'5", 247. And that announcement made to the crowd here gets a roar from the Seminole fans. So James Blackmun will finish with an Independence Bowl record 4 touchdown passes as Cam Akers now is at the running back spot. He'll get it. Playing off the blocks, he disappears at the 30-yard line. So we'll take a look back here, Ahmad, at James Blackmun's day. A freshman quarterback, a record setter for this FSU team.
Yeah, he started off a little nervous, and then he settled into his role, started finding his targets, dropping balls into tight coverage. And I thought what really got him started was his ability to extend plays and maneuver in the pocket. And Tate has been his favorite target today. James Blackmun, I think, really took a step forward today in finishing the season strong and making a serious move to this being a quarterback competition next year.
Costantino going for the end zone. Almost. He tried to get it to Justin Motlow. And Motlow did everything he could to try to make that grab. It'll be 4th down.
It's not a bad throw. I mean, I think he threw it in a good location with 2 trailing defenders under Motlow. He tried to lay out there and haul it in with one hand. Couldn't quite grab it.
So that will bring Aguayo back out. This will be 39 yards for the sophomore. He has made 17 of his last 18 field goals. But PATs have been an adventure today. Good snap, good spot. Kick came out a little weird, but it's good. Not the prettiest kick of all time, but it's 3 more on the board for Florida State. Who will be the #1 quarterback when we do this again in 8-9 months? That's going to be fascinating to watch. And for Southern Mississippi, a terrific season in Conference USA. 6 wins in a very competitive conference. And we'll see if they can improve on that under Jay Hobson, who has done very well in his first 2 seasons. Somebody who is very committed to Southern Miss. He has proven that in his career. We go to the field now. Roddy is standing by with Odell Higgins.
Well, I'll get Coach as soon as he's done shaking hands. Coach, the emotions after everything that this team has been through, winning this bowl game, what are you feeling right now?
Thank you, God. And thank you, Mickey Andrews and Bobby Bowden.
How?
Leader that you guys are. And thank you, Mama. I love you. It just, I don't have any words, man. I just say thank you to my mentors.
How, through all the distractions, through everything that was gone around, how did you keep your guys focused enough to perform at such a high level in this bowl game?
We are Florida State University. We're not going anywhere. We will be back. Coach Tag, you got it, baby. I love you. And we're Florida State, man. That's the best answer to that. Florida State don't go anywhere. We may have a bump in the road, but, brother, we coming back. Coach Tag, you got it, baby. Love you.
You've been a part of this program for a long time, and you talked to us about playing Florida State football. What did you see out of your team today that showed you that you were playing Florida State football?
We played as a family. That's Florida State football. Played as a family one, trusting each other and playing for each other. That's Florida State football, playing reckless out there, you know, doing our job.
Coach, congratulations on the win, and congratulations on the 2-0 record as interim head coach.
No, you saying, no, it's not about me. It's about the kids. It's about Rick Trickett, Randy Sanders, Lawrence Dawsey, and guys like that, Charles Kelly, Brad Lauren, Jerry Johnson, Bill Miller. Them coaches that stayed, and they committed themselves to it. And the young guys and the GAs and stuff, they fought through it. That's Florida State way. We pull together as a family after everything happened to the kids. That's who it's about. It's not about Odell Higgins. It's about us as a family.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Coach Higgins and Roddy, thank you very much. Our final score for the final time, Florida State 42-13 over Southern Miss. Coming up next on ESPN, a showdown between Iowa and Boston College in the Pinstripe Bowl from the Bronx. But first, we're going to send you back to the studio. For Ahmad, Roddy, and our entire ESPN crew, we want to thank you for watching. The Walk-Ons Independence Bowl. A big win for Florida State in their 36th consecutive bowl game. After falling behind 6-0, they took over with a 33-point run en route to the victory. They finished their season 7-6. We thank you for watching. Good afternoon from Shreveport.
Check.